Ugh. Ugh, that animation. Ugh. Oh my goodness. The animation. Ugh. Take me back. Okay, this is just interesting. Everything about this game is just full on nostalgia. Even those pipes. If there's one thing I remember from this game particularly, because I play a lot of Lilo and Stitch games back in '05 or '06 when I was a fetus, but I remember this pipe particularly. I literally thought it was like another Disney show that I thought these pipes were based on, but no, it's actually from Lilo and Stitch. I remember these. I remember climbing up on these pipes particularly. I This is such vivid memory that I'm having, such flashbacks. Like I remember these yellow colored pipes from my memory of renting this game way back when I had a PS2. It's insane that I'm seeing it now as an adult. Oh my goodness. And just like that, I finish Lilo and Stitch on the PS2. What took me this long? Even though it's a short game. But we can ignore that. But finally, it's been a while since I finished any damn game right now, especially on the PS2. Oh, na na na, watiki na, oh na 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 na. Oh, that's such a banger. Oh, too bad there is no Aloha, because it's not in Hawaii. Yeah, man. Oh, sorry. Here and yeah, well, I just finished Stitch on the PS2 Experiment 626. I just call it. I basically just call it Stitch on the PS2 because it doesn't have Lilo. It just has Stitch, and I just noticed that it also doesn't have all the characters. It just has like Stitch and I guess this big other character that I kind of forgot the name of. I don't know. I mean, he calls Stitch Experiment 626, and I'm like, what? I'm not sure, but as I'm looking through, let me see. You know what? Since I'm here, of course I'm gonna check the characters, the names. But yeah, Jumba, I think that's the name. Yeah, Jumba. Pretty much they got. If you've seen the movies, you know for a fact that yes, it is about Jumba helping Stitch, and they're trying to break free, going back to Hawaii. I think they were in Hawaii first, but I don't know. I finished the game. It took me a bit just to finish it, but overall, I'm just giving you my criticisms and also what I think about the game. And also with this Disney logo because it looks like AI. I'm sorry. There's something about it where it's like, what the heck is up with the lettering? Yeah, the game is so here's the thing. It's one of those games where when I really think about, oh man, your favorite PS2 games, or at least the ones that I played, this is one of them. It's a fun, like kind of shooting third person platformer, I guess in those perspectives of calling it that. Like that's what the game kind of did for me when it feeds that nostalgia, but also it helps me be a bit more curious of like what would happen if I finish it. I don't know if I did finish when I first played it. I do remember a lot of shooting, which it has. There's a lot of moments where it's like, oh, man, I'm not really sure what's going on with this particular level or these particular scenes. But if you want to see the most of the movies, I feel like you can watch most of the movie scenes if you collect all these like movie recorders or something. Like there's these collectibles that you collect and it gives you movie scenes from basically the movie of either Lilo and Stitch 1 or 2. And since Lilo and Stitch are basically reviving this year, here I am actually finishing this game. How convenient. But it just didn't have that, the Hawaiian vibe and culture is basically what sort of made Lilo and Stitch in the first place. But this is just about Stitch. And here I am thinking, I was like, okay, well, the thing is that I finished the first Lilo and Stitch, which it was in the PS1. This has no relations to that, but it basically is another Lilo and Stitch game. But if you want to witness the first one, then I guess, just get that one, which I did do a review of it. I did talk about it. I don't know if I liked it, if I remember, but also I don't even know if I like this one. It's a fun game. There was no interest of completing it, like being a completionist and just completing it the whole way. But I find myself just like, yeah, yeah, the game just doesn't. I don't know. There's some pointers where it's like, yeah, it doesn't hit the way it usually does, but doesn't make it a bad game either way. I mean, it surely, with all the other moments where Jumba is trying to speak to Stitch through some of these collecting, you basically collect these calling devices that are just floating in game, and it starts talking to you. I don't know what it is. There was a part where if when Jumba was in trouble, it sounded more like he was angry and annoyed with Stitch, more so than him basically just like saying help, help. Instead, he's like, "You need to help me. You need to help me, Stitch." I'm like, Jumbo, can you? How about be nice? I was like, is he angry or getting tortured, or I don't know. Some of the acting is just off. There's just some acting that is just off, and it feels like the recording, and of course the visual style, it wasn't graphically high res. I don't expect that at all when it comes to PS2 games, but when you really see it, it's like, ugh, is that what it looks like inside the device thing? It's like, oh my gosh, what is that? But yeah, that's kind of like what I took from when playing this game. Some of the visuals just wasn't matching, and some of the scenes were just awkward. So basically, playing this for just the gameplay itself is kind of like the right choice to make. I don't know why, but there's part of me where this game, when I first played it, I was thinking of different other animations that came out at that time. I'm not sure what the other one is. I think it's something Jones of, it's about a some kind of organism inside of a body, and you pull, and you pretty much, you don't play as that. It's a cartoon show, and it was released when Lilo and Stitch was released, which was basically around the 2005, that era, that century basically, which at this point is like retro. It's like decades ago. It's like crazy to think like, man, that's a long time ago actually. But yeah, it just reminds me of that. It reminds me, and I don't know why. When I was going through the levels, specifically when I was seeing this, there was this yellow thing in this level, and you were basically, you can climb it, you can hop on it. It was like a pipe, and there's just like yellow stuff just coming in and out, and something just flowing inside of it. And it just reminds me of like the other, like what was that other series, that cartoon show? It's Mucus Jones or something, like I don't know, I forget the name, but I remember growing up and just seeing that. I was like, what is that? Like there's a part of me where it had a deep and story within, but when I think of this game, because when I think of PS2 games, there's a lot of them I think of. The main ones: Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Metal Gear. But and then you see the basically the much lower floor of games, and I think about this. I just don't know why. I just think about Lilo and Stitch. I think about this particular game because I grew up playing Disney games. I grew up with the old school Disney, the old school Cartoon Network, rest in peace, and also Nickelodeon. But these were part of my childhood. They were basically an aesthetic of how I grew up and where I am now. Like it's crazy to think about those times and think about this game, and also thinking about just basically in this day and age of finishing it, just witnessing it, you know, thanks to the power of emulation and also technology. Yeah, I finished it and I was like, yeah, I guess that's my. I got a good glimpse of what this game is, and it's like, wow, those were some times, man. Those were the times. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I mean, I don't know about it's like the best at anything at all. Do I recommend it? If you like the, shooting platformers, especially how it reminisce from back then, yeah, probably. But the acting and also the story, you're better off watching movies. You're better off watching the actual original animation that at this point is old, but of course they might be reviving it or something. It doesn't beat the cartoon. You can't live action something like this. It just doesn't. I mean, who knows? It's Disney. They have the money for it. But again, yeah, I don't know. There's a part of me where I don't support Disney. There's personal reasons that I talked about in this channel. But whatever. This game, I dig it. I say at a 8 out of 10. Some people might give it lower if you're just witnessing this first in hand. But for me, I got a good feed off this game of just what it is. It's not perfect, but it was something of a nostalgic piece, that it's like an old city that I'm visiting. I'm like, oh, okay, well, wow, never seen this place before, or at least a long time ago. Good to see that still holding up. And of course, I'm talking about LA. But yeah, this game, Experiment 626. I don't know what's up with the name. It's like when I think about that name, I'm thinking about Jumba 626. With his accents. I don't know. Is he Russian or something? What is he supposed to portray as? And what did Stitch do? Like there is parts where you shooting and doing the action, and you just hear this random dialogue coming out of nowhere, either from Jumba, either from the enemy, either from Stitch speaking, and I'm like, ugh, why are you speaking? It's just a time that if you weren't there, you wouldn't know. But when I was there, and I think about nostalgia, yeah, the first time ever playing this was way like 2005 or something. And here I am now in 2025, literally 20 years later, and finishing this game. And I gotta say, yeah, I'm not missing much. It's surprisingly a short game, but it took me a bit because there was parts where it's like, yeah, I'll get back to that. I just played off a whim. I'm like, yeah, I thought about playing some of the Lilo and Stitch games, and I kind of want to get back on that train. So here I am, and I finished one, and I guess I don't know when's the next one, because I can only think about like, okay, well, this is the only one, so that's all I know. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, Disney Stitch Experiment 626 completed. Well, love and peace. God bless.